Jake Nichols and I, welcome to the It To Hoover podcast, Monday, May 9th. Jake, how many weeks left do we have left of the SEC baseball season?
At this point, like, what is it? Two?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, because Hoover because the SEC tournament starts on the 24th. So yes, we are exactly 15 days from the start of the tournament, which means we're about 2 weeks from the end of the regular season.
That means 2 weeks until me and you are reunited in Hoover.
Yes.
Let's do it. Like, let's go. Like it. What are you most looking forward to about Hoover? Just totally random. Before we even talk baseball.
Honestly, I think, and this is not necessarily really baseball specific, but just being able to see so many different teams again. I think that's been one of the coolest parts about going to Omaha, going to Hoover. Just, you're able to sit back and just watch so much baseball at once. It's wonderful.
Dude, I think other than the baseball, I'm very excited about the Alabama white barbecue sauce. Being again in Memphis, I'm excited. Like, I think it's got a very – I've only had it once when I covered the Birmingham Bowl. But that white sauce is different, Jake. It's different. I'm excited, man. I'm excited to get down there, eat some gumbo, see all the LSU fans. It's going to be fun. But, Jake, main important thing, let's talk baseball. What is your biggest surprise of this past weekend?
Biggest surprise? It's not going to come as a surprise, Kentucky. Tennessee came out like just as flat as you can possibly imagine against the Wildcats in games 1 and 2, lost 3-2 and 5-2. And man, you got to give credit to Kentucky. They came out ready to play. They played smart. They played hard. They just controlled everything from the jump. And Tennessee just did not have an answer offensively, and it was so stark of a difference compared to, the nation-leading homers this team has generated. The fact that they've broken their own program record for home runs in a season, yet none of that was present in Lexington. Tennessee just really flat, like I said, in those first 2 games, came out and avoided the sweep on Saturday after they played game 2 earlier that day, since it had been postponed from the night before due to storms. But just kudos to Kentucky for jumping on the balls in games 1 and 2, and Tennessee gonna have to jump on the rebound now, starting on Tuesday against Bellarmine.
I know I'm not allowed to normally do this in a normal journalistic perspective, but I'm a Kentucky fan, Jake. Go Cats! That was a monster win for Kentucky, and not here's the thing about Kentucky baseball. I think you and I talked about in our group chat with Jared Redding. We talked about it. Kentucky baseball is not going to the NCAA tournament.
Right.
They're not going.
They're tied for last in the SEC.
Yeah, they might not even get to Hoover. They legitimately might not get to Hoover.
Yeah.
But Kentucky beat the number 1 team in the country, and Mingione is probably gone. He hasn't done anything. He's got to 1 Super Regional in 2017. Whatever. But that's the type of series win that you could build off of. Now Kentucky plays Auburn. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to get to Hoover. Mississippi State's got an easier road. South Carolina's got an easier road. But that win over Tennessee not only meant a lot to Kentucky fans, but I think it meant a lot to Kentucky baseball, a program that really, let's take a Memphis, for example, a program that really is kind of looked after as the second-tier program in the SEC. It's just a great win, and it was a great weekend in the Commonwealth. Shout out to all the Kentucky graduates. It was a fun weekend. Other than that, Jake, other takeaways from the weekend?
Well, that was the biggest, but I think other than that, kudos to Vanderbilt for bouncing back and just making a statement against Georgia. The Commodores are kind of coming back a little bit, and they're 500 in the conference, so this weekend was big for them to get back to that. But kudos to the Commodores for a big win that coincidentally gave Tennessee its 2nd consecutive SEC East title.
Jake, also, the biggest thing that's what stood out to me the most this weekend was Ole Miss sweeping Missouri. That was big. That was big for the Rebels because here's the thing: Ole Miss is on the outside looking in. They get that series sweep over Missouri this weekend, and now Ole Miss is going, okay, they can finish probably within the top 6 to 7 teams in the conference.
And I will say, I did have one other takeaway as well. You know what that is?
What?
How about those fighting Texas Aggies getting
Gig 'em, baby.
over South Carolina? One of them coming back from a 9-0 deficit and winning 13-12 in the bottom of the ninth. I mean, gig 'em, like, holy cow.
You know what the hottest take? I actually texted you this, and I think that you and Jared both thought I was crazy. Texas A&M is my pick to win the SEC tournament. They've won 5 straight SEC series dating back to the 1st of April where they lost to Alabama. And they haven't just beaten chopped liver. They've beaten Arkansas. They've beaten South Carolina. They've beaten LSU. I mean, Texas A&M, they're ranked 12th in the country by D1 baseball, but nobody's talking about the Aggies. Everybody's still talking about Tennessee. Everybody's still talking about Arkansas. But Texas A&M has this pitching staff that is built for tournament play. To me, Texas A&M's not going to be playing until Wednesday of the SEC tournament. I like Texas A&M to win the SEC tournament. They're that, like, in the podcast, that is literally my hill that I am willing to die upon right now. Texas A&M to win the SEC tournament.
That is a bold take, my friend.
I get it's a bold take, and you can tweet at the old takes or what? Old takes exposed.
Old take exposed, yeah.
Yeah, you could tweet them with the soundbite that says Mitch Davis says that freaking Texas A&M is going to win the SEC tournament. But you can't argue the simple fact that they've won 5 straight SEC series. Like, A&M has caught fire in the bottle right now. And I tell you, another team that has caught fire in the bottle is Auburn. I really like what Coach Thompson is doing. He's got 2 or 3 guys in the starting rotation that could be playing big league ball next season.
You're not wrong.
I mean, who else does he produce? Who has Butch Thompson produced? Casey Mize, or is it Casey Mays? And he's produced 2 or 3 other guys that won a World Series. Like, Butch Thompson knows his pitching. Watch this happen. Watch this happen. Texas A&M versus Auburn on Sunday for the SEC title. Like, you don't have a response. Like, you don't, like. But the thing about it is, it's not out of the realm of possibility. Like, when teams get to Hoover, and we saw it last year with Mississippi State, you and I both saw Mississippi State play last year. They were the clear-cut best team in the country. Like, they were the best. Mm-hmm. They went down to Hoover. They really didn't want to be there. They weren't motivated. And they got out, what was it, on Thursday morning? They lost, and they were like, we're going home. Like, could you see a situation where Tennessee repeats what Mississippi State did last year?
I don't think to the extent of getting blown out that badly, but I think that given the way this team has bounced back and just given, the mindset that they've taken this season, I could see something like that.
Give me your hottest SEC take right now.
My hottest SEC take.
I'm going to put you on the spot because I'm willing to die on the hill that Texas is doing the SEC.
I'm going to give you one. I'm going to say that LSU, dark horse to make it to Saturday in Hoover. At least.
I like that.
And you know why? Because Jay Jacobs has a great team going right now. Has a team that, by the way, don't look, but took a series at Alabama this past weekend. That Sunday win 12-3. The Tigers are rolling right now. And nobody's talking about them, which they should be with a first-year head coach.
It'd be a lot of fun. A Texas A&M LSU SEC championship.
That would be fun. That would be fun. And very, very unexpected, but those are always the most fun, aren't they?
Well, see, that's the thing. If you go back and look at SEC baseball history, the SEC tournament produces some of the most exciting moments in baseball. Remember what was it, Todd Patterson for LSU, the freaking where he goes, "Oh, I'm a pitcher, I hit coach, I hit nukes in high school." Dude comes out was a PO, never hit in high school, and won the game for LSU. Like, you and I talked to Paul Maneri earlier, when we first launched this podcast, and like Maneri literally could not stop laughing, talking about that moment. You got the rally possum at LSU. I mean, when you get to Hoover, all bets are off. I don't care who you are, how good you played that season. When you get to the Hoover mat, special things happen. And that is why I'm willing to die on the hill that Texas A&M wins the SEC tournament. I am. Like, and another thing.
And going off that, I think we talked about this with Mike Bianco. We talked about this. I can't remember if we asked Tony or not, just considering that he's only been once with Tennessee as a head coach. But, in asking these coaches earlier this year, before we really got into the thick of this season, what's tougher, winning in Hoover or winning in Omaha? Or what's more fun, being in Hoover or in Omaha? And the answers were split, if I remember correctly, if not more weighing on the side of Hoover, just because what you're getting. That you're going to have elite competition from across the conference. When you get to Omaha, a team may have struck lightning and won like crazy to get there, but they may not be a very strong. I mean, you have to be a strong team to get there, but they may not be as elite as the SEC talent that has arrived in Nebraska. We know when you get to Hoover that is essentially one of the, I guess, last barriers to getting to the College World Series, because if you win there, then you have got the stuff to make it to Omaha.
Jake, and you bring up a great point. Now, you weren't actually on the interview with Skip Bertman. I think you had a work function, and Skip gave literally was like, "You have 10 minutes, call me." Like, that was like, it was a last second. But he talked about that, and the thing about it, what Skip Bertman said was the whole fact that when you get to Hoover compared to Omaha, not every program in Omaha cares about baseball. Like, yeah, right. Sure, you have your LSU, you have your Mississippi State, you have your Miamis, but you don't have every program that cares about baseball. When you get to Hoover, you've got 12 out of the 14 top baseball programs in the nation that bring 8, 9, 10,000 fans each to Hoover. And when you get to the Hoover Met, you've got, 50,000 people spread out throughout Birmingham, and you've got, 20,000 that get into the stadium for each session. Like, it's such an environment. And, I put out the tweet the other night watching that Kentucky-Tennessee game. When was the extra innings night? Thursday night? Is that the extra innings night?
Yes, it was.
So I put out the tweet to, I think it was SEC Baseball, one of the accounts, CWS, one of the college baseball accounts that you and I follow. I put out a tweet. I was like, this game literally feels like a Tuesday mid-morning SEC tournament game. Like, and I think you and I, Jake, I don't know about you, but how do you plan on staying up for some of these extra inning games that we're going to get in Hoover?
I mean, I plan on staying for every one of them, if possible, considering I know where we're staying is pretty close, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, like you and I are saying 7 minutes away from the stadium. I think that's pretty accurate. But speaking of, before we jump off of here, you and I have a Radio Row spot near a lot of the big name media people in the SEC. Feinbaum, other people like that. Jake, how excited are you to get on Radio Row?
I'm extremely excited about that.
I think you and I are going to have a lot of fun.
I think so too.
And honestly and truthfully, I'm very open to reaching out to Ron Polk and be like, hey, if you got a second, if you want to swing by the broadcast, you and I could literally go on air and talk to Ron Polk. I think that'd be fun. I think that would actually, I don't know. You and I we're gonna work it out. But Jake, let's close with this. What are you most looking forward to this upcoming weekend?
This upcoming weekend, I think I am really, really excited just to see that Tennessee and Georgia matchup, because it is a big test for Tennessee to see if the Vols can bounce back, and Georgia is going to come in looking to do what Kentucky did except with even more metal, I guess, considering how well the Bulldogs have been playing. Scott Strickland's got a great program going right now, and I think has proven a lot this season, as opposed to kind of where people thought the Dogs would finish. So I'm really excited to see how that goes and to see how Tennessee's pitching holds up, considering they had to use so many arms last week, and to see if they can kind of spread it out a little more this weekend.
2 series, actually 3. I'm going to go 3. Vanderbilt travels to Fayetteville, Arkansas to take on the Razorbacks. Oh God, that's going to feel like a College World Series game. Like that's like, I know Vanderbilt's down because of the loss of pitchers, but those two, when they get together, that is a very, very fun baseball series. Obviously, Alabama traveling to Auburn, that's going to be fun. And my series of the weekend, Mike Bianco heads down to Baton Rouge to take on his boy Drew Bianco. Ole Miss will travel to LSU. That is going to be a fun series. Anytime Ole Miss and LSU play in literally any sport, crazy crap happens. Like football, the Billy Cannon like Halloween game. Then you had Eli's days. I mean, like anytime Ole Miss and LSU were anywhere near each other, like literally crazy shit happens. And I'm just excited because here's the thing: Ole Miss is fresh off that win over Missouri. If Ole Miss can sneak out a win over LSU, which is not out of the realm of possibility, you and I and everybody forgets that Ole Miss was number 1 ranked heading into the Tennessee series where they got swept. Ole Miss has the potential. Like they have the team, they have the depth chart. Let's say Ole Miss gets that win over LSU. Now you could be talking Ole Miss could be playing their way into a double bye, playing not until Wednesday of the SEC tournament. That's how big that LSU series is. Jake, drop your socials and let's get off here and go watch the Grizzlies.
Yep. Hit me at jnichols_2121. That's where you can find me for everything you need to know Tennessee athletics.
Yeah, mine's Mitch Davis _8, and then my website, themitchdavisshow.com. So literally one-stop shop. Jake, it's been fun, dude.
Yep, it is. And I will see you in Hoover. You bring the white barbecue sauce.
I'm bringing the bourbon and the white barbecue sauce. How's that sound?
That sounds great, just so long as you don't mix them together.
No promises.